Hey guys, this is the Okazaki Minami Koen, which means the Okazaki City South Park. So it has a bit of a zoo in it, but it's more about the park than it is about the zoo. But anyway, the zoo's there and we'll show you that part of it too. Probably not the worst monkey enclosure that we've showed you, is it? But it's sort of interesting. They've sort of got a bit of a clean sort of a pond in there and some other things to make it a little bit interesting. Again, as we've said before, we don't necessarily support the concept of zoos, but if they exist, we show them to you. This is interesting, a monkey performing dentistry on another monkey. It's pretty funny. Yeah, he seems pretty happy with that. There we go. Yeah, if you come back in 6 months, that'll be $45. Pretty cool. Aviary with flamingo and a variety of other birds. So it's sort of very zoo-like so far, isn't it? That's just because we happen to have started in that area. Here's the playground. Oh, look at this surface. That blue and brown surface there is the spongiest sponge rubber you've ever walked on. Really springy, really soft and absorbent. Really amazing. Good surface for kids. But this is probably the highlight of the park, is this big pond full of koi. And some of the biggest koi we've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. And they have a little area there where you can go and another honesty system where you put in your 100 yen and you get the little cup of fish food, pellets, fish pellets, and come over here and drop them off that little pier down to the fish there, and they all come from all directions like this. That big orange one you can see there's just huge. It's a bit hard to get a bit of an idea of the size of them. Nothing there to really compare with, is there? But these things are huge. Really big. Up to that orange one could possibly be 60 centimeters long. It's huge. Really big koi. And it's not unusual in Japan to see big koi, but these were huge. Some of these were really big. So that's a beautiful scene, isn't it? So it's just a city park. There's been a festival there recently, and they just hold all sorts of usual city park type activities there. So it's just fantastic. Watch the wake. See this thing coming from the other side of the lake? It looks like a shark coming across the lake. You can see the wake from the fish coming across the lake towards us there. Just a giant koi. Absolutely amazing. Look at that. Awesome, very nice. And of course they've got this little play area here where people can come and skin their knees throwing balls around. We've showed you this before, haven't we? The gravel parks. It's supposed to be low maintenance, that's the idea. But yeah, you lose a lot of skin throwing a ball around in a park like that. Little Buddhist shrine, as you can see. Well maintained with a beautiful tree. Look at the tree that's beside it. Beautiful old tree. Miniature horse. The male one here, and then the enclosure next to it was a female on the other side, white female. There's a lot of noise going on. We're sort of thinking that they're probably one or both of them were on heat. This guy's pacing up and down, making a lot of noise. Peacock in an enclosure that was probably a little bit too small for a bird that size, but anyway. Again, we're not advocating zoos, we're just reporting on it. Deer. And this elephant, this is an interesting system. That thing you can see in front of him there's got a what do you call it, conveyor belt on it, and he just pushes it with his trunk and it pulls the belt from the other side over to him, and there's people putting food on the conveyor belt there through that little hole. These little waffle things that have actually got a pellet, food pellet inside, and especially for the elephant. And again, go put your 100 yen and you get 2 of those, and you come over and you feed them into the hole here, and he drags it over by pulling on the conveyor belt there, or he just gives it a flick with his trunk and it just flies the thing over to him really quickly. Now watch this, he really got us. We thought he was thirsty because he'd been eating dozens of these things, and finally he went and got a trunk full of water and came back. And we're going, oh, he's thirsty, isn't that? Oh, he must have eaten so much he got thirsty. And he drenched us. It doesn't look like there's that much water there, but there was a few litres there. He's a good shot too. That's a fine way to say thank you, isn't it? Although he probably was. We were talking about this later. Elephants do spray water on each other, don't they, when they like each other, so it was possibly a friendly thing to do. It was about 29 degrees, so it was a pretty warm day, so we didn't complain too much until we started to realise that that water had come out of his nose. Oh, by the way, if you come to this park, don't bring the dog, because if you do, a guard man with gloves will come over and tell you to leave. He was really polite. He just said to the people, sorry, no, dogs aren't allowed because it scares the animals. Please take the dog out of the park. So this actually passes under the main highway that goes between Nagoya and Tokyo. So instead of having a dingy, dark, little horrible little underpass here, they've done a really nice job of it with that mural on the wall, and even an interesting mural on the ceiling. Look at this aeroplane on the ceiling. Contrail. Contrail means condensation, guys. Doesn't necessarily mean it's pouring deadly materials on us. It's just condensation, okay? It's the air condensing. It's the moisture in the air condensing. That's actually the highway that goes between Nagoya and Tokyo. So they've built this zoo on both sides of that highway and that walkway underneath it. So this end here is sort of a petting zoo for kids. So they've got turtles the kids can pat, and they've got rabbits, and they've got guinea pigs. Fairly traumatized big tortoise. Poor old tortoise being followed around by a bunch of little kids being climbed on. That wasn't him. He was okay. This one, he was in a place where kids couldn't get him. He was happy. But his friend was getting fairly severely harassed. So this is back in the main part of the zoo. Spider monkeys. Small monkeys. And meerkats. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hello, what's going on? So, pretty good place, really good atmosphere, amazing for a public park. It really was a great place for a public park. This was a Sunday and it was busy, but because it's so big it wasn't really a problem. So if you find yourself around the Okazaki city area of Aichi-ken in Japan, it's probably worth coming over here for a bit of a visit. Quite spectacular in spring apparently when the cherry blossoms are flowering. But that was beautiful at the beginning of summer too. Hope you enjoyed that. More videos coming soon.